What you doing? You gonna help me do the video? No? Maybe later? You want to be on the video? You're adorable. Hey YouTube. It's your favorite ice making video lunatic. So a month after I finished that video about my Gen 2 GE working wonderfully for 4 strong years, the auger went. So the auger is that thing on the inside of the ice machine that spins around and helps, it cuts the ice and pushes it up through the center. In the Gen 1, you could actually take out the entire center console. It was a bit of work, but you could actually take the whole thing apart and take the auger out. It wasn't an easy process, but it was something that you could do, and you could replace it. In the Gen 2, no. The process is a lot more hellish than in the Gen 1, if you can believe that. And you have to sort of take it apart from the bottom up. You have to take all the sides off. There's a couple of videos of people working on Gen 1s and completely taking them apart. And I think there's a couple of videos on people taking apart the Gen 2, but not that middle area because you really can't get in there very well. So I had to decide what I was going to do. I have been a supporter of those ice machines since I want to say 2016, 2017, because I kickstarted the original, what was it called? The Opal, made by First, what were they called? You guys know what I'm talking about. And then they were bought out by GE, I think. So the first ice machine I had was one of those original nugget machines that were like the first on the market. And I really liked it. GE bought them. I bought another new generation one, and that was a Gen 1. And I had had that thing since, oh God, I had that thing at least 3 years plus. I never really liked the Gen 1, but it wasn't that it didn't work well. I just wasn't a fan of it. And when the Gen 2 came out, I was like, you know what, why not? I've had this ice machine several years now, and another one even sort of before that. So it made sense to me to upgrade at that time, but the problems that I had with the Gen 1 were mostly in the design of the Gen 1, not necessarily with the ice that it made. I never had problems with it. I know a lot of people have problems with it, but I did not have those problems. I simply didn't like the way it was designed, didn't like the way that it was, that you had to clean it. There were all these problems with it that I didn't like. But again, I've been sort of loyal to that style of nugget ice maker since 2016, 2017. So I never tried a different kind. The Gen 2, I really had no problems with it, even though I abused the poor thing just to make content for you guys. But it really did run well. I honestly would have continued with it. I would have kept it if the auger hadn't gone. But it was clean. I did better cleanings with that. I didn't have a problem getting inside of it and cleaning around in the inside, blowing out the fans and stuff like that. It was actually a lot easier than the Gen 1. But I did not want to go through that process of taking it apart, trying to replace that auger, or having it sent back to them, packing that 400-pound ice machine up, sending it back and having them service it just to send me back, a new auger. It just didn't make any sense. So I decided to just get a new ice machine, figuring in a couple of things with how our household uses ice. One of the things I did like about the GE that I miss about the GE is that it did keep the ice very cold all day. And it made I don't know, was it something like 40 pounds of ice? We do go through a lot of ice in my household. We drink a lot of beverages. We drink a lot of water. Ice is, we kind of need ice. So having an ice machine that made 38 some odd pounds of ice was, made sense to me. But I don't have a problem with making less ice, and the benefits of having a smaller ice machine and one that's easier to maintain, also less expensive. I'll have to look up the price of this. I want to say, actually, let me just go check because I can't remember what it was. Let me see. I can look at my keyboard for a while. Let me see. I paid $143.56, and that included getting like a 3-year appliance warranty. So it was less than $150. So let me move this out of the way here. Okay, so there's a bunch of ice machines that kind of all look the same on Amazon. I got this one. It's a GoveeLife smart ice machine. The only reason I really kind of went with this one is because I have other Govee products in my house. I have a smart water boiler, and I have some lights, smart lights under the island in my kitchen that are also Govee, and I do have some Govee plugs. So I do use the Govee Home app quite a bit to control different appliances and different lights. And I figured why not just, add the ice machine to that so that I can just keep using the same app. This thing is much lighter than obviously the GE, which was like 400 pounds. This is not 400 pounds. It's actually easily, handled and moved around. You don't need like 8 people to pick it up. It's pretty nice. The other thing I like about it is I do like this weird ice that you get. The ice is like these sort of, as my tribe mate says, like these wine glass shapes, which is kind of cool. It is not terribly loud, but I feel like it's louder than the GE. It runs a lot. The water runs a bit when it's making the ice. The ice kind of drops in, several chunks at a time. It's a little noisy. I don't have a problem with the noise, and I don't mean that it's like super, super loud. I don't know if you can hear it, but I mean, we have computers in here running 24 hours a day, so the ambient noise is not a problem. But I did notice that even though this thing is this small, it is actually louder than the GE Gen 2. So it's pretty simple. It just has this nice like plastic lid. It has a very small ice tray, and then the reservoir in there. Don't know if you can see that. Let me go in a little further and put the water down there up to the fill line, and then you just put the little ice basket on top, and it makes the ice. And the ice is made in these little, I don't know if you can see back there, there are these little metal, 1, 2, 3, 4 metal things that makes the ice, and then the ice drops down, and this cool little thing goes in there and scoops it up and pushes it into the ice bin. So I've had this for, 2 days now? I think about 2 days. I want to take it apart really badly and see the inside and how it works. I can see like a little inside here, and it looks very similar to the other ice machines I've had as far as the different components. But I really want to get in here and see how it works and like all the different areas that may need to be cleaned. The cool thing also about this is it does have a cleaning cycle. So the GE had a cleaning cycle as well. That was, you know, you put the solution in and then you hit the clean button and it runs it through the hoses and everything. But as I demonstrated in my last video, it doesn't truly clean at all. I mean, you're supposed to run it through for like a few minutes, and then the cleaning cycle is not that long. So every time it stops, you have to hit the clean button again if you want to run another cycle. And you have to do this over and over and over again. And it's not really, I wouldn't call that an automated process. It's more like you put the stuff in and you press a button, but you have to keep pressing it over and over if you want to run many cycles. So apparently, and I haven't done this yet because I've only had it a couple days, you put the cleaning solution in and you hit the clean button and it does a full 10-minute cycle where it runs through the whole machine. Now, I don't trust, you know, ice cleaning, quote unquote, ice cleaning, because I saw what the ice cleaning did in the GE. It sort of just washes over things and through the pipes. It's not really going to get in there to get any mold or anything like that. So at some point, I am going to take this apart to the best of my ability and see what's really going on in there. If I have to get in and manually clean, I think any ice machine at this point, given my experience with previous ones, I would want to get in there and clean those things as thoroughly as possible, but with, you know, my own hands, you know, and not trust that you can just throw in some liquid or some tablets or whatever and that it's going to clean it. There's no way, because I just don't buy that. So keeping this clean is definitely going to be a priority. And since I won't be making any more videos about how gross ice makers get, I don't have to not clean it just to make content for you guys anymore. So I'm going to keep this thing pretty well cleaned. When I do an actual cleaning cycle, I will do a video to show you guys, you know, how the cleaning cycle works. But more importantly, when I take the whole thing apart, I'll definitely do a video and show you guys. There's a lot of videos on YouTube of people who have ice machines like this, not this particular one, but similar countertop ice machines, and they've taken them apart and they kind of show you. So I definitely don't think it would be too hard to get that done. What I've been doing at night, instead of leaving this running, because I don't know if you're supposed to leave these running. I think you can, because the same method applies. The ice sits in the bin, it eventually melts, becomes water, cycles back through, becomes ice, and that goes on, right? But I don't want to leave it running all night. It doesn't make a lot of ice to begin with. I mean, you could get maybe, I don't know, three decent sized cups, you know, if you really like a lot of ice in your drinks. It does make ice fast, but it doesn't make a lot. But if there's any left over at the end of the night, what I've been doing is just taking it, putting it in a bag, like a Ziploc bag, and throwing it in the freezer, and then turning this off at night so it doesn't run all night long. And then in the morning, you know, I can put new water in and start the ice making for the day. During the day, it seems to be fine. Like, there's 3 of us that live here, and, you know, it's not like we're ever waiting on ice or something. That doesn't happen. The other thing I did differently was I changed the location. So this is the air fryer, this is a stove, this is a slushy machine. We are totally having slushy later. It's going to be awesome. Slushy machine, and I had the ice maker here in between the air fryer and the slushy machine. So what I did was I moved the slushy machine, because we don't use this very often, and it does get kind of warm, obviously, because it has to freeze stuff. So it does get sort of warm, but it's not often that this gets used. So I moved this over here next to the air fryer so that this is as far away from constant sources of heat. The air fryer is something we use every day for breakfast, sometimes for lunch and stuff. So it's constantly, you know, heating. The slushy maker, I think we use maybe once a month tops. So this will not be getting hit with constant heat. And I think with the GE, it was always next to this, which was getting used every day, every morning. So the heat was causing even more mold buildup. Here, I don't think we'll have as much of a problem. I thought about moving this actually to a different location completely, but I didn't. I like it here on this counter back here. So I think that keeping it away from the constant heating will help a lot with if there's a mold problem in this one. I don't know if the design is similar to the GE, the Gen 1, which is where they put the reservoir or whatever to hold the water, was right over the heating element in the thing. So on top of that, it caused more mold. Gen 2 did not have that same problem, and I did not have as much mold as you guys saw in my videos until I literally left it for months and months and months and months and months and didn't do any cleaning. It took a long time to build up a significant amount of mold in the Gen 2, and I had to literally just not take care of it, not do anything to it, keep it by a constant heat source. Like, I had to work hard to create mold buildup in that thing. So I don't think I'll have as much of a problem with the GoveeLife one as far as heat creating mold growth. I have been using purified water in here because we accidentally got some instead of distilled. They sent us purified water, which, you know, we can't use in our CPAPs. So I've been using the purified water to make ice. Normally, I would use either spring water in the GE or we have a reverse osmosis faucet that's, you know, we have a reverse osmosis machine down here, which is great. It's really great. So we use a reverse osmosis water in the GE, but still the water is still very hard. So I'm using purified water in here, and I'd like to continue that practice if I can. I think we have a decent amount for me to be able to use mostly purified water or mostly spring water, but I don't know that I want to continue to buy water in order to make ice with it, because that's just another expense. So I think using the purified water is going to help cut down on all of the lime scale that we used to get, because the water where we live is just, it's like Flintstones hard. You know what I'm saying? So I think the purified water will help a great deal, but I don't know that I want to continue to buy tons of it just to make ice. I think that's a little crazy. I think I want ice, but I'm not going to pay to make my ice. You know, I already paid for the ice machine. So I will keep you guys updated with this. I'm very happy with it. I have no complaints. Again, ice is ice. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those people who chews on ice, so it doesn't need to be the nugget ice. Though I guess, you know, I guess you could chew on this if you wanted to. I don't know. I don't want to chew on that. That's a little too much. The nugget ice also it's very crunchy. It's not hard. So it also melts faster than these barrels and stuff. So I think that I prefer just having ice. I don't need to chew on it. If you're an ice chewer, the nugget ice is great because the texture makes it very chewable and all that sort of stuff. But it melts fast. It doesn't necessarily keep things as cold. Like, I need to use a whole glass of ice for very little liquid if I literally want the ice to keep something cold. This is more like, you know, the usual ice, and it does keep things cold very quickly. I mean, very quickly. It does keep things cold much longer. I'll show you the app as far as all the different controls. There are buttons, obviously, on the top of this that you can use to, you know, make your selections. There's indicators when it needs water, when the ice is full and stuff like that. The app, the Govee Home app, it allows you to see everything going on with the ice maker, like how many nuggets of ice it's made, how much water is left, how long it was running. It has a really great log that shows you like when the ice thing said it was full, when you added water, all that sort of stuff. You can select if you want small medium, or large ice. I have it on small, but I think the sizes are a little different. This is small, so I can't imagine what medium and large are. They come out sort of slightly different sizes too. I mean, I think generally it's supposed to be small, but who knows? There's a light that indicates like when it's full, when it needs more water, this light, and you can actually change the colors of the light via the app if you want. So I actually really like smart devices. Most of everything in our home is some sort of smart device. And I am sort of a tech head, but also just because of chronic illness and me having to really make the best decisions about how I spend my energy. If I can automate something and, you know, not have to get up and do something physically, it helps, you know, save my body a lot of pain. So I tend to use a lot of smart devices. Pretty cool. When the ice gets up to, like, as soon as it touches, like here, it sort of tells the ice machine that it's full, and it, you know, and it stops running. So what was I saying? Yes, I automate a lot of things if I can. So that's why I kind of went with something that has an app that allows me to see data and to control certain aspects. The GE has an app as well that gives you, you know, somewhat of the same control, but for some reason it's just actually really a shitty app. It never really worked properly, and I wasn't a big fan of it. I do like the Govee app much more. And I use that for controlling all of our Govee equipment, as you can see. It just works better. The Wi-Fi connection, as soon as I plugged the thing in, my phone picked up the new device. It works with Alexa. If you still have one of those, you can, you know, tell it. I know you're not quite sure how to help me. It works with Alexa, so you can tell it to make smaller ice, or, you know, I don't know what you would have her do except tell her that you want the ice to be a different size, or turn the off or on, I guess. But it does work with Amazon products. I think you could probably get it to work with Home Assistant if you have Home Assistant, or IFTTT. I know that Govee has, I think, an IFTTT connection, so you could probably set up different routines, but you can also do that in the app itself. You can schedule things, you can schedule cleaning, you can schedule when you want it to come on and come off, so you don't have to necessarily do it. Hi. Are you harassing me? Oh, hi, I love you too. You want to make ice? So I like it. The verdict is it works. That's really all I care about. Does it make ice? Yes, it does. I have had no problems the past couple of days. I had no problem setting it up. I had no problem using the app. The ice is great. Works fine. I mean, again, it's ice. What do you want? If the thing makes ice, it works. It's a matter of seeing how it goes over the next few months. So I'll definitely keep you guys updated. I also had a problem with leaking on the GE. This one kind of leaks a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. There's a valve underneath. I don't know if I can show you guys. Can you guys see that valve, that white valve? So there's a valve that you can use to drain all the water out. And I think that might not be as tight as it needs to be. So I'm going to check that. But it's not like a crazy leak, like just a couple of drips. But I'm going to check it and make sure. And when I do the video, when I take it apart or do another cleaning, I'll show you guys more in detail, like what that valve looks like. But it's nice. It's like a quick release kind of valve that you can just, instead of having to drain the hoses in the GE, you can just undo that valve and drain the water out. So I'll keep you guys updated and and let you guys know, you know, how it works out. I really like it so far. I like it better than the the GE because it's not as heavy. It's very easy to move, not that I need to. It's not as tall, so it feels like, you know, the space isn't as crowded over here. I have no problem with the kind of ice it makes. Like I said, I'm not a chewer, so it doesn't matter. I just want ice for my drinks, and this is plenty. It does, obviously, it's not, I think it makes 25 pounds maybe total of ice over the course of, you know, how much you filled the reservoir, which is plenty for us. I have not felt like, oh damn, I gotta wait for the ice maker to finish making ice. That's never been a thing. It has an ice scoop. I actually kept my one from the Opal because it's a little better quality, that you can use in here. And it's magnetic, so you can, it sticks to the side. I stick it on the fridge just so it's not in the way, but it's magnetic, which is cool. So I'll keep you guys posted and let you guys know how it holds up over the, you know, the next few months. I have a feeling it's gonna be fine. It doesn't seem terribly complicated. It doesn't seem like it has as many, you know, moving parts or, you know, as the GE as far as cleaning or taking apart, but I'll let you guys know. All right, thanks for sticking around. You guys are kind of just fascinated with this ice making, these ice making videos. But if they help you guys, that's great. I mean, that's really why I do these. I'm just trying to provide information to help people out who, you know, just want to know what's good or what other people's experiences are. There's a lot of ice making and ice machine videos on YouTube. Definitely check them out if you're looking for specific information, especially how to disassemble them. There's a ton of videos on that. You just have to do like a decent search, and you'll be able to find people taking these things apart like constantly. I mean, I refer to them myself when I needed to get into the Gen 1 and Gen 2. But I'll keep you guys posted, and thanks for tuning in.